Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. There's plenty of new VR games dropping this week. Some of your favorite VR games are receiving updates. Bhaptics has new vests and other accessories available. I went hands-on with a new update for Behemoth, and finally we'll discuss what's the next big thing for VR. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my long-term sponsor Kiwi Design. If you're looking to make your Quest headset much more comfortable, or you want a top-of-the-line battery pack for up to 3 hours of extra gameplay, well then I highly recommend their brand new K4 Boost head straps. It's now available in both traditional and Halo strap versions, and not only are they cheaper than what Meta has to offer, they're also way more comfortable with some extra plush material. There's a link to Kiwi down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so let's start things off like normal with the check-in, and that's what exactly have I been up to in the VR world, and it is just non-stop lately. It's absolutely crazy. My skin's starting to get irritated from being in the headset and sweating so much lately. It's crazy. I'm covering so many games, so just look forward to that. Plus, if you're following me on Instagram or TikTok, you'd see I'm pumping out a lot of shorts about some of the other things I'm working on. Like, I have tons of accessories. My desk is covered. I have lenses. I have facial inserts. I have new hardware, a new haptic vest. I have a VR arcade. So I am just super swamped with things to cover. But it's great. It's fun. I'm enjoying it, and I hope you guys do too. Now, if there's anything you guys want me to cover, let me know down in the description, but let's just go into this week's new releases, which is plentiful, starting with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is releasing soon, and it will come with a VR mode. This is the hands down #1 flight simulation title, with stunning graphics, a huge array of planes to fly, nearly unlimited real-life environments to explore, and of course, some true-to-life controls. Now, flight sims aren't really my style, but if it's something you're into, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one. But moving into some more physically active games, we have Thrill of the Fight 2. The sequel to the extremely loved fighting title is not only coming in hot with some new content, but also a brand new PvP mode. Now this is releasing in early access with only that multiplayer PvP, but they are of course planning to give us a single player mode filled with plenty of authentic boxing matches and training equipment that'll make you feel like you're actually in the ring. I definitely have some high hopes for this one. The original title was fantastic, and I'm really curious to see how they pull off multiplayer. Now jumping back to single-player first-person shooters, we have Brigade Alone. This is another one of those games where you're trapped in a compound with some mysterious type of experiments going on, and something obviously went wrong. Now I do get a mix of both BioShock and Dead Space from this title, but I'm curious to see just how well polished it'll be. This could be a bit of a sleeper hit, or just another generic shooter. Now if you only jump into VR to have a quick bit of fun, we have Bounce Arcade. This is like shrinking down and jumping into an array of different pinball tables, and each comes with its own unique style to help give the game lots of different variety. Now if you're into that style of game, this one looks like it could be a lot of fun. Continuing with that theme of being inside an arcade game, we have Pixel Arcade. At its core, it's a platforming parkour style title that'll have you bouncing between objects in a neon colored world. Overall, it's not looking like anything special, but I know VR games could work really well with this style, so I won't knock it until I give it a try. And speaking of trying, I really want to test out Augmented Empire. This is a remake of a classic Oculus Go title that takes you through an epic cyberpunk-themed storyline that has now been remastered with 4K textures and the option to play in mixed reality. Not only is this a role-playing game, but it also features some strategic turn-based combat, making it right up my alley. Now the next 2 months are going to be extremely busy for me when it comes to virtual reality coverage, but if you guys want me to do a video on this game, please let me know down in the comments and I'll do my best to get to it. Now for those of you who've been looking for something like Prince of Persia in VR, we have Ember Souls. This is another title that I demoed at Gamescom and walked away thinking it showed a lot of promise. There's plenty of parkour style puzzles, physics-based combat, and a unique world to explore. It was, however, lacking a little bit of overall impact, so let's hope they've added some nice updates in the last few months. Now when it comes to new game announcements, we're getting Clone Drone in the Hyperdome, which is actually a sequel to the successful flat screen title Clone Drone in the Danger Zone. This is a voxel-style robot gladiator game with some crazy destruction mechanics. Graphically, this isn't looking like much, but a title like this usually looks much better in VR rather than in its flat screen trailer, and based on the success of the original title, this looks like it could be a really fun experience. Well, we should find out soon enough, as this game is releasing on December 12th. Now moving into game updates, the fantastic roguelike shooter, the Light Brigade, has just announced the Phantom of Time update. With it comes the revolver-wielding gunslinger class, the Saboteur, who has the timepiece ability that allows you to cloak yourself and deploy a dead ringer. This is ideal for tactical repositioning, especially in the game's new region, the procedurally generated war-torn Memorial Grounds. So if you're already a fan of this fantastic roguelike, or you've never experienced it before, right now is a great time to jump in. Now if you're more of a rhythm game fan, Beatsaber just dropped the Monster Cat Mixtape Volume 2. This is 12 brand new tracks designed to not only pump you up, but also challenge your skills. Now, I'm admittedly too old to be familiar with this music, and I would probably stroke out trying to keep up with this gameplay. So let's move on to an update that's more my speed, and that's for Airspace Defender. This is a 3D tabletop mixed reality arcade game where you use hand tracking to fend off a wave of incoming airstrikes. It's a reimagining of some old school gameplay, and the latest update is bringing plenty of visual changes, audio changes, additional features, and some brand new turrets to help defend your base. So if you're into some fun arcade-based action, I highly recommend you check this game out. Now for the sports fans out there, Golf Plus has just introduced the Jumeirah Golf Estates. So you can now experience this integral part of the DP World Tour. This is the crown jewel of Dubai's elite golfing scene, and the global golfing community should be quite familiar with this one. And finally, for those of you who love the flat to VR mod scene, the Silent Hill 2 mod now has full motion controller support. Now, not only are motion controls there, but they actually look like a native VR experience, as impact hit location is correctly determined, and there's other aspects such as hitting an enemy in the leg can cause them to fall down. So if Metro Awakening wasn't right for you and you're looking for a different horror experience, maybe you want to check out the Silent Hill 2 VR mod. Now, before we get into today's main topic, we just have some brand new hardware from Bhaptics. They've just introduced both the TacSuit Pro and TacSuit Air, plus some updated tack sleeves. This is basically a refresh of their previous product line, as the Pro will replace the X40, and the Air replaces the X16, and now coming in 2 different color models. Now some additional updates include a power button on the front, which is much easier to access, plus a ring that allows you to control the level of haptic feedback on the fly. They've also repositioned the haptic motors to remove any gaps and provide more consistent feedback. The sleeves are also now 40% lighter than the previous version, but still designed to deliver some powerful feedback. So if you're interested in these new models, they will be releasing on November 26th, and I will definitely be reviewing these in the near future. And now let's jump into today's main topic. What's the next big thing for VR? And when it comes to games, we're all expecting it to be Skydance's Behemoth. That's the same team that gave us the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. And if you've been following other YouTubers, myself included, we've tried lots of demos for this game, and we've been quite positive about it. We're comparing it to something like God of War, really cool experience. You feel quite empowered as you're taking on the role of this cursed individual who has to destroy behemoth-style creatures. And we're talking about giant creatures. Now, to date, Skydance has done 3 demos, and I recently just went to a Skydance launch party with a bunch of other content creators in New York City. It was a really good time. And we were supposed to get another demo showing off another behemoth. Unfortunately, the demo went sideways. There was an issue with the PlayStation. Apparently a kernel update broke things for them. And they were only able to show us like a previous build that a lot of us have seen and is actually kind of out of date. So my overall experience wasn't great with Behemoth. And I did actually get to try it on PC, which is another topic, because apparently it looks like the game is not launching on Steam, but will be on the Rift platform at launch. We'll see what happens there. But my PC experience wasn't great, but I'm not going to hold it against the game right now. I'm going to say this was an issue with the Quest Link. This was a PC game using the MetaQuest Link, and it just felt a bit laggy to me. So the combat didn't feel fantastic. Swinging around didn't feel great. There was also a weird learning curve to the game. It didn't feel immediately intuitive like some other VR games. However, when I did get into the PlayStation version, even though this was an older build, it felt a lot better. There's a nice variation in environments. Graphics were great. The behemoths are crazy. So I'm still pretty pumped. But I feel like lately the overall VR community is just not satisfied with anything. The mixed reactions I'm seeing to both Batman and Metro are crazy. I will get one comment, game of the year, this is a masterpiece, I love every moment of it. And then I get, this game is old school, feels like VR 2016, it's bland, the There's not enough physical interactions with the world. A million things. I didn't like the graphics. I didn't like the story. It's crazy across the board. I don't really know what the user expectation is. I've been super happy with VR lately. I think it keeps getting better and better. I think Behemoth is going to be another hit, even though my overall opinion's been knocked down a little bit after this last demo. But let's hope that was like a link cable issue, and the learning curve on some of those controls, while it doesn't immediately feel perfect, once you get a hang of it, it feels great. Let's see. Let's hope that's the case. And that was today's video. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think the next big thing for VR is? Drop it down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. 80% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. I'm trying to hit 100K. Want to get my plaque, put a smile on my face. And of course, I'll see you guys on next time.